Hey guys, welcome to the channel. If you're new to our channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below. Hit that bell, stay alert when we release our new videos. All right guys, it's been quite a while since I put a video out there. I wish I could have got a video out to you guys sooner. I've been putting a little bit of shorts out there, and thanks a lot to all of you guys that have subscribed to the channel here in recent past. It really means a lot to us here at Ferko Family Farm. And we'll try to get more video footage out to you if we can. It's just been kind of hard with the scheduling, but I figured today we'll do a video. We'll kind of do an update around the farm, we'll take you along, kind of show you what's changed in our future plans, what we plan on doing there, and then kind of go section by section. So let's go ahead and start at the Brooder Coop. We'll head over that way real quick, and then we'll go from there. Let's go. All right, so down here at the Brooder Coop, you can see right now it's pretty grown in. That's just because we have moved the chickens that were here, the chicks that we raised, the 10, let's see, there was 4 of the Wyandottes, 2 of the black sex links, and 4 of the white leghorns. Those are grown and they've moved. Unfortunately, since then, one of the white leghorns was killed by coyote that came through here recently. Came through in the middle of the day. I had to go out there. We ended up shooting him, thankfully, get him out of here, so we haven't had him back, but. We did lose one of the chickens, so they're not here. But anyways, all the rest of them down with the main flock. They're just out free ranging like everybody else. So the plan for this moving forward then is going to be for whenever we get more chicks to come onto the farm, that's going to be rather our meat birds or additional egg layers. Right now, we don't have any other future plans for additional egg layers. If our predators start taking out our flock a little more, we may eventually bring in some more egg layers. The next plan, though, later this fall, hopefully we're gonna get some meat birds here on the farm. We'll bring them out here. Once they feather out and get a little bit bigger, I'll start moving them out on pasture in our mobile tractor that we built a couple years ago. So right now, this is just gonna sit here and not much is being done. The power has been taken out of the solar door there, so that just stays closed. And this will all be grown in here soon. And my favorite part about this is coming down and all this wild spearmint plants down here. There's a whole bunch of them, all these fat leaves. We've got them all down through the woods right here. I love spearmint. All right, so again, it's just gonna sit until we get some more chicks on the farm. Right now, we've just kind of taken the tote that we were keeping the feed and everything in, the tarp that we were putting out over the front to keep the rain and some shade for the chicks out front, and their feeder and whatnot. Everything's just kind of tucked in here for right now. Whenever we get a new batch of chicks on the farm, we'll go ahead. They'll be in a smaller brooder, temporary brooder, until we get them into here. And then we'll get this all situated in. But for now, everything's just gonna sit here. So that's kind of what's going on with the Brooder Coop out here right now. All right, so that's it with this Brooder Coop here. Let's go by the other chicken coop real quick. I got a quick update to show you down there, and then we'll head over to the garden. Hello, ladies. So, other than the new chickens that were at the Brooder Coop being moved down with the flock, they're now part of the bigger flock. We have introduced a new male Muscovy duck with Pie. Daddy had disappeared for quite a while and he didn't come back, and so we traded the neighbors a male Muscovy duck for one of the male geese that we had, the African geese that we have up at the barn, and because we had 2 of those and got rid of one of them, so now we just have 1 male, 1 female at the barn, and now we have 1 male and 1 female Muscovy duck over here to keep Pie company. So what are you thinking, Pie? So the new male duck there, his name is Stripes. That's what Jerry and the kids decided to name him. So we have Pie and Stripes here in the duck enclosure. Right now we keep them locked up only because Roger and the chickens have been a bit mean and hostile towards them, and we don't want them to get injured and hurt. So we just kind of keep them locked up. But we do have a little pond, more like a big deep puddle that we dug out, but Jerry keeps it dug out, and every once in a while we'll go back and re-clean it out to make sure it stays pretty deep for him, and there's a hose that runs to it, so as it starts running low we can add water. And yeah, they're doing really good in there. They've got plenty of shade and we keep them fed just like we do the chickens. They have their own enclosure over on that side, and they've been doing really good. Pie has really been a bit happier since Stripes has showed back up here on the farm. All right, let's go ahead and check out the garden. It's come quite a way since our last video when we planted everything. All right, back here at the garden, guys. Look at this. Man, it's night and day compared to the last time you guys would have saw in the last video where we came through and we planted everything. Since then, everything has been growing out here. We've actually harvested quite a bit, from green beans to sweet peas, some okra, tomatoes, peppers, a lot of cucumbers. We've used some of our herbs that we've been growing here as well. We've got cantaloupes growing, some watermelons, the corn's growing in. We've eaten a whole bunch of red potatoes, a couple meals worth already. So it's doing really good, and it's still growing quite a bit here. Each individual path where all the crops are all individually labeled with Jerry's spoons that she created, so to keep track of where everything's at. So we've got tomatoes, peppers, the bell peppers, sweet peppers, and jalapeno peppers. Going down the lines, we've got the okra, green beans, sweet peas, the potatoes, corn, everything. The only thing that we really had issues with were onions. We had a few onions that we were able to harvest early on. The rest of them didn't really take too well. I'm not sure. It may be because of the soil that we have here. We may need to add some more to it, including the compost that we're trying to break down for next year. But this is kind of where the garden's at right now. It's really come a long ways, and Jerry kind of comes out here in segments and tries to weed each individual row of crop one by one. She'll pick 1 row a day and kind of work at it. The grasses are kind of growing in between where all the mulch was, where we laid all that mulch down in the paths. It ended up growing grass just as easy as it did the ground, I guess. So I'm not sure if that was much benefit. And I had a solid 3 inches of mulch there in those walking paths, so I'm not sure what happened. But either way, that's fine. We're just gonna run a push mower down the paths, cut that down a little bit. We're just more concerned about keeping the weeds away from the crops themselves, not to smother them and allow them to grow. Let's go take a look. We got a bunch of tomatoes growing, and they're all coming in pretty good. A handful of them have been ripe so far, as Jerry's picked, and turning out pretty darn good. The lima beans are coming in really good as well. They're climbing the trellis, and the trellis is really filling in. It's almost like a jungle tunnel right there. It's pretty neat. Jalapenos are really coming in too. The first couple that we tried were actually pretty hot, and this is supposed to be a tamed jalapeno variety, but you can see they're coming in all these pods here. They're growing everywhere, but they're really good. We're gonna make some jalapeno poppers soon. Cantaloupes. The first few cantaloupes have been growing in here. If you look under here, look at that. It's a nice looking cantaloupe. Got another one that's down here just a little bit farther. There it is. So these are a couple of nice sized cantaloupes growing in. Can't wait till those finish. The crowded peas are actually starting to fill in quite a bit. If you look down, I call them the Edward Scissorhands. They're sticking out every which way, and we need to get down here once you start ripening up and get these things picked. All right, the corn's kind of hit or miss. I think we had a soil nutrient issue this year, but we are getting some corn grow in, as you can see here. There's definitely some cobs growing out there. Last year we lost them all to insects. I'm hoping that's not the case this year. Green beans, we've actually been getting quite a bit. The plants haven't been very huge this year, but they've been producing quite a bit. We've had at least 3 or 4 meals of green beans so far, and a few of the plants have already been removed since. But the rest of these plants here, there's a few in there still. We just picked them, so you can see it's pretty thin. These big old okra plants, not quite as big as they were last year at the 12-foot range, but these are more average looking. We've had a few meals of okra pulled off so far. You can see here a whole bunch more okra is growing, so that is awesome. Wow, these cucumbers too, they're growing on the other side of the trellis. They are looking really awesome. You can see a bunch of these cucumbers growing in here. It's filling in nice. So yeah, that's the garden in a nutshell. Everything's growing. We've been harvesting it and just trying to keep up with the weeds little by little. All right, let's go up to the barn real quick. We'll kind of show you the update up there. There's been a few changes to the barn layout where the pigs are, and some updates on the piglets. They've grown quite a bit, so let's go take a look. All right, before we actually get inside the barn and show you the pig area, I figured just kind of give you a quick update on the cow pasture. So on the front cow pasture, we were able to move the cows out here originally. They were spent a couple months out here, well, about a month and a half, 2 months out in the front. We moved them back into the winter pasture in there with the goats. And when we did, I took the shelter and I drug it behind the tractor all the way into the other pasture. It sat there for a couple months and then we went ahead and connected it. I just moved it back out here recently, about a week or two ago, and I put it back out here in a slightly different position than it was prior. You can see the old spot right there. So now then we moved the cows back out, and I also installed this 12-foot gate. So I made a short on that because I had to makeshift a little drill bit there in order to get those hinges in there. Not quite the preferred setup, but it worked, and we got this gate on. The only thing I want to do is eventually put a wheel on this because this is a very heavy gate, and it's hard for Jerry to open and move it because you got to pick it up and kind of carry it. So we'll finish that off eventually down the road, but right now it's just chain close. But let's go take a look at the barn. I want to show you the update what we did in here and give you an update on all the pigs. All right, so up here at the barn, this is back in the pigs in the back side of the barn. I made a few configuration changes since Dobby had her piglets. They were growing. We had to separate them from each other. I ended up building a new configuration. It basically divided the existing pig stall in half and then cut a door on the exterior and then put a wall over there to divide the two paddocks. That way Dobby had her own dedicated paddock from her younger ones, and then we also sold 9 of those 13. So we do still have those 4, those 3, actually I think they're all 4 females here, but we've got all 4 of those here left on our farm, but we're going to be using for our freezer camp in November. And Tink also had her litter, and her litter is getting old enough now that they need to be divided. So we're gonna have to put Tink over into Dobby's pen very soon. But just as of recently, I opened up Dobby and her piglets. So all 5 of them can be back together now that they're not nursing anymore. They could still be conjoined. So let's take a look real quick in the barn and I'll kind of show you what we did. All right, so the first thing we did here is I cut this door out so that I can get in here. This is just a piece of plywood. Eventually, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this door, it fits right in here, I'm gonna put some hinges and we'll be able to open and close it if we need to. This is just for our human access in here. Animals are not to come out here, so I still have to have some sort of gate here to close whenever we move the pigs through this area. But when you come in here, you can see there's a little chute area, and to the left over here, we've got Dobby's new house. But as you can see, the piglets are in there with her, so they're also in there. Got a new divider wall that divides us up. On the right side over here, you'll see Tink. She's over here with her piglets. Again, the piglets are getting huge and they're ready to be separated. They're already pretty much weaned out in a way that they're eating the food that mom's eating already. The same food we're putting out for all of the sows and Big Red back there. They're eating that. So that's the fermented pig feed. So we just got to get Tink. We're moving through. I just have this screwed in place for now. I got to get some heavy duty hinges so we can open this gate, and heavy duty hinges to open the gate for the other stall in here. But this one will open up and we'll be able to shoot them through this whole system just like this, moving through. This is another gate over here going into this stall. So between the 3 of them, we should be able to move the pigs around. We do need to get Red back over here eventually once all these piglets are out of here. All right, and then the other big thing, because I had to make all the configuration changes for the sows and the piglets, we moved Red to the big paddock on the far left side here. He's in here by himself. We actually had to go down along this fence line all the way down that divides him and Dobby and put an electric line on his side of the fence as well, because he was originally pushing in and causing a problem. But he's been pretty good, huh, bud? Yeah, he's been a good boy. Right now we don't have a gate that goes across between the two. We're gonna have to eventually put a gate in, and that's gonna come down because we need to get him back to his original paddock. What are you doing? Oh, boy, he's heavy. Oh boy, he's heavy. He's heavy. Let me get out of here before he gets too violent. But we're gonna have to eventually get him moved back over to his original paddock once all of Tink's piglets are sold and out off the farm, which hopefully in the next 2 weeks that'll be the case, and we'll reconfigure the pigs again. So that's the update on the pigs back here. Everyone's doing really good, growing like weeds. You can see the 4 over here that we kept from Dobby. All 4 of those females, they're growing out pretty good. They're sharing a paddock with mom in there and the mud hole and all that. Red's doing good, slow and steady, guys. Just trying to keep the pig operation here small, but yet circulating pretty good. All right, guys, well, you can see a lot of things going on still. Everything's progressing here on the farm, slow and steady. Quite a bit of changes since the last video, and that's on me. We should have been recording a bit more, but with the chaos, with the schedule and everything, the kids' sports, it's been kind of hard to get the videos out. But I will always continue to try to put a video together for you guys to let you follow along on our journey here on the farm. The goal is just kind of bring you guys along, show you as we're growing out. We're no subject matter experts, and this is not a how-to video on the best ways to do everything. It's just showing you what we're doing currently. All right, well, I appreciate everyone following to the end of today's video. If you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button down below. It means a lot to us here at Ferko Family Farm. Until next time, guys, we'll see you later.